RFK for Department of Health and Home, dude, Health and Human Services, fucking holy moly, what a horrifying reality we exist under. I cannot begin to explain to you how devastating this is. A man who is an anti-vaxxer, who also had some really interesting takes about Jewish people and what they were doing with the Chinese in the development of the COVID coronavirus, which suspiciously enough, according to the ADL, doesn't read as anti-Semitic. I don't know why. Maybe because he's super pro-Israel. That's the other wonderful aspect of RFK's, like, insane and rather colorful history, is that he has also said COVID-19 was genetically engineered to spare Jews and the Chinese. Not just all Jews, though. Ashkenazi Jews specifically, I believe, is what the quote was.
Bioweapons. The level, I know a lot now about bioweapons because I've been doing a book on it for the past 2.5 years, and you know, the technology that we now have to develop these microbes, we've put hundreds of millions of dollars into ethnically targeted microbes. The Chinese have done the same thing. In fact, COVID-19, there's an argument that it is ethnically targeted. COVID-19 attacked certain races disproportionately. The races that are most immune to COVID-19
definitely, man, definitely. The races that are most immune to COVID-19 are
of the structure of the most immune to COVID-19 are because of the structure of the genetic structure of genetic differentials among different races of the receptors of the ACE2 receptor. COVID-19 is targeted to attack Caucasians and black people. The people who are most immune are Ashkenazi Jews and Chinese.
Sick. Now, if you recall, I covered this at the time, and we made a lot of jokes about it. Like, have you ever met an Ashkenazi Jewish person in your life? Okay. And many other hilarious dunks on this fucking take, which is insane. COVID being a genetically engineered bioweapon that spares Ashkenazi Jews and the Chinese is laughably anti-Semitic. It like reaches the level of like, holy shit, what the fuck are you saying, to, oh my God, you are the most insane anti-Semitic person, to, it's actually kind of funny how stupid you are. Now, I can't even fucking joke about it now for two reasons. One, because everyone is up my asshole to be like, oh, I got him, Hasan, you're anti-Semitic. I'm going to clip you out of context. But also because he's now in charge of the HHS. All of a sudden, things when he is not even within striking distance of any sort of government regulatory agency that you could laugh at are no longer a laughing matter. He was approved? Not yet, but I think the Trump administration is looking for a method to basically avoid the Senate's advice and consent responsibility and do mass recess appointments. Just get it done through the recess process. Like, I think that's what they're looking at right now. That's what they are looking to do. I mean, as a scientist, his take is a cardinal of truth. His variables in protein isoforms are characteristic in different ethnicities. That said, we all know what he's trying to say here. Yeah, I think it's extra funny to say that like Ashkenazi Jews are not getting sick, and the assumption that it's also genetically engineered. Like, anyway. There's a lot of conflicting views between these cabinet members. Some people hate Jewish people. Some love Israel. Some of them are RFK Jr. No, there is one thing that unites them. First of all, everyone is pro-Israel. Don't be ridiculous now. Hate Jews, love Jews, are a Jew, is not a Jew, doesn't matter. They all love Israel. That's number one. Number two, they all hate Muslims. Okay? These are some very important uniting principles. And last but not least, and this is the most important aspect of the cabinet, they are all diehard loyalists to Donald Trump. Okay? Because there is a litany of different opinions in the cabinet. Okay? There are a lot of different opinions. Oh, they also hate China. That's another good one. Yes. Okay? Omni Valor, hate is wrong. Thanks, man. I'm Ashkenazi and I never got COVID. Is this statistically significant? Chatter, stop. They're going to use this. No. It's funnier to think that China made this virus while protecting themselves and Ashkenazi Jews. Yeah, I know. It is pretty funny. But then, once again, it's no longer funny and very scary when you remember that this guy is going to be in charge of shit. Specifically, medicine. You can't have a guy that's anti-medicine leading like things that revolve around medication. Anyway.
But we don't know whether it was deliberately targeted that or not, but there are papers out there that show the racial and ethnic differential impact to that. We do know that the Chinese are spending hundreds of millions of dollars developing ethnic bioweapons, and we are developing ethnic bioweapons. That's what all of those labs in the Ukraine are about.
Dude, he is so insane, dude. He is so fucking insane. God damn it, dude. What are we doing? What are we fucking doing, dog? Holy shit. We are so cooked. Oh my God. This country is in the pooper. Okay. In the pooper, in the dumps. We are going to kill ourselves. Holy fuck. Yo. Not good. RFK Jr., one of the most anti-science figures in the world, will oversee a vast bureaucracy with a discretionary budget of nearly $150 billion annually and a mandatory budget of nearly $2 trillion. HHS and its various agencies have profound regulatory powers that impact the healthcare and of not only hundreds of millions of Americans, but also the global healthcare community. The following agencies will be under his control as Secretary of Health and Human Services: Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services, Center for Disease Control and Prevention, Food and Drug Administration, National Institutes of Health, Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, Health Resources and Services Administration, Administration for Children and Families, Administration for Community Living, Indian Health Service, Agency for Healthcare Research and Quality. Oof. Leak. This is from the ethics report. Exclusive. Woman testified the House Ethics Committee that Gates had sex with her when she was 17. Sources. Gates has repeatedly denied the claim. More on what the ethics gathered during its probe, as it remains unclear if a report will ever be released. Oh shit. It's leaking. It's leaking.
Republican government.
It's leaking. I mean, it was inevitable. It was inevitable that it was going to leak. When RFK was running for president, he said he would stop research on drug development and infectious diseases for 8 years.
NIH, my first week, I'm going to call all the division heads and I'm going to call all the bureau chiefs. And I'm going to say, we're going to give drug development and infectious disease a break, a little bit of a break for about 8 years. And we're going to study chronic disease. And I'm going to go to NIH.
Oh my God. Maybe the U.S. will have a bunch of brain drain in the health services. I think one of the wildest parts about this is that this is America cucking itself with its like endless support for with its refusal to acknowledge any of the underlying material harm. We are bouldering towards like this fascist ANCAP dystopia, right? Anarcho-capitalist dystopia. And in that process, America's just like fucking itself over in the long term. Any country that has even a little bit of responsibility to governance is going to cook our shit, okay? Especially if you're a country that's like uniparty like China and they have like long-standing, you know, decades-long policies that they're implementing. Like these sorts of things are very important, very consequential for the future prospects of nations. America, on the other hand, is so short-term profit motive invested that they just can't see anything else, and we're basically actively destroying the country from within. This is why I used to always say like the Republican Party is the greatest threat, the greatest terroristic threat to America and perhaps the entire globe. Democrats are a close second, and that the likes of Osama bin Laden or any arch terrorist could never imagine the amount of damage that the Republican Party will do to the nation and also the world as a whole. And now we're there. We're literally there. It's so fucking wild.
With Elon Musk's.
Here is Trump's transition co-chair, Howard Lutnick, shocking, lying 2 weeks ago about RFK's potential job in the cabinet.
Ability to do Doge. He and I worked that out together and we structured that.
But would he actually come into the government? Because, I mean, he'd have to divest. It would be quite tricky.
He's not coming into the government. He can't sell SpaceX.
He's not going to
Tesla.
come in.
No. So what he's going to be adjacent to it. Think adjacent to it and writing software for the government and then giving the software to the government, so and helping the government. It's going to be amazing.
One other person who was on stage recently and was talking about coming into the administration is RFK Jr. He said that Trump has promised him control of the public health agencies, HHS, which would be also, you know, CDC, FDA, USDA, all of these agencies. Is that true? Has Trump promised him basically the HHS job?
So I spent 2.5 hours this week with Bobby Kennedy Jr. and it was the most.
Dude, the idea of Elon Musk writing software is so laughable. These people are so deluded. Like, what software has Elon Musk ever written, dude? What are you talking about? Jesus Christ. I don't even know if these guys believe it. Maybe they do. I guess people believe that shit. They think like he's a actual fucking engineer. People that say PayPal don't know that all of the fucking coding that he did for what came before PayPal, or all the software engineering that he did before PayPal, was so bunk and so bad that they had to rewrite everything. And not only did they have to rewrite everything, like one of the primary functions of like online banking, it failed to do that. Okay, people could just like access your wallet. It was so bad that they had to push him out. It was so bad that they had to buy him out, dude.
over a decade to see if there was in fact a link. Some of the studies actually showed that you were more likely to have autism if you were not vaccinated. But the point being that issues are raised, issues are studied, and yet they still keep coming up. And I think that's one of the big concerns. That's a metaphor, I think, for other things that people are concerned about with him.
Dr. Sanjay Gupta, thanks so much. Let's bring in our panel and talk about it. Jamie Gamgeld, let me start with you. What are you hearing from your sources about Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Being picked to be head of the Department of Health and Human Services?
Look, it's another example of you better take Donald Trump at his word.
Yeah, he's been saying this. It's not a surprise in terms of he likes Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
Correct. And Senator John Thune, the new majority leader, has his hands full. He does not want to look at his phone again today. I mean, it was Matt Gaetz yesterday and now this. I think it's important, though, to now see how the Republicans in the Senate handled this. They cannot claim to have buyer's remorse. They were all in on this. One Republican source said to me, I'm not sure they will be able to reject all of them, meaning you have all of these controversial picks. It's not just one. And another senior Republican said to me, no one should be surprised. This is Donald Trump 2.0. It's a new kind of chaos, but Trump feels emboldened. He simply doesn't care about the rest of the party. It's all about him, and we're expected to be loyal. It's a one-way street.
Yeah, just to remind people, the head of the Department of Health and Human Services in the first term was a respected Republican member of the House, Dr. Tom Price, who was a physician.
Right.
Former Congressman Dent, I want to play something that RFK Jr., he was asked about his expertise. He is obviously, Kennedy, not a scientist. He is not a doctor. He does not have any degrees in this stuff. So Smirkanish, who has a show on CNN on Saturdays, asked him, well, what's your expertise? Take a listen.
Because I've spent a lot of time studying and writing books,
Right.
and litigating these issues, I have a very detailed domain knowledge of these areas that make it very, very difficult to defend orthodoxies in a, because I know the area so well. So yeah, it is almost, particularly on vaccines, it's almost impossible for anybody to interview me.
So he wrote a story for Salon.com and Rolling Stone magazine about vaccines back in 2003, 2004. Rolling Stone and Salon had to retract it. It's been disappeared from the Rolling Stone website because it was so false. Just because somebody writes something down doesn't make it true.
Well, it just seems like there's a war on expertise and science or experience. I mean, it's not just RFK Jr. I mean, this is crazy. I mean, the science of vaccines, I thought, was settled a long, long time ago, and we're having this debate. But, look at Matt Gaetz. What qualifies him to be head of the Justice Department?
At least he's a lawyer.
Okay.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying every day the standards get a little lower.
Hegseth at defense, again, a good service, but this is no Richard Perry or Bob Gates or Jim Mattis. We expect people, with a lot of gravitas. And, Tulsi Gabbard, I'm a friend of Tulsi Gabbard's. But, there are going to be red flags about her relationships with Syria and Russia. And so it just seems like Trump is being awfully defiant. He doesn't care about expertise, or in this case, medical science. And so that's what's so troubling about this. And I suspect there are going to be a lot of pushback. And some of these nominations are going to have to be withdrawn.
I think in addition to the question of expertise, there's also the question of capability of running a larger organization. The Pentagon, HHS, the Justice Department. These are large, sprawling organizations.
18 intelligence agencies.
Arguably too large and too sprawling.
Sure.
But these are people who have not had experience in running these sorts of large organizations, and you do have to wonder whether they can do that. And you also have to wonder about the Senate and their own self-qualifications, because if you are not exercising your constitutional duty to provide advice and consent here, what is the point of your being in office?
All right, everyone stick around. We've got a lot more to talk about. We're going to have much more reaction to the breaking news. A source telling CNN that Trump is on the verge of officially nominated.
We're so fucking cooked. He did it. He did it. Do you think it's strategic? Like nominate a bunch of crazies just to make a few getting through seem like a compromise? Fuck no, dude. That's not, dude. The problem is you think these guys are doing 4D chess. This is something that a lot of people did back in the day as well. A lot of Trump supporters would do that. They'd be like, oh, when he wrote Covfefe, he was actually doing 5D chess. And the media also kind of went along with it as well. No, what you see is what you get. They're not playing chess. They're playing checkers, okay? It's a direct through line. There is no convoluted, complicated reasoning for why they're doing this, okay? He does not give a shit. I can't begin to explain this to you. He does not give a shit. These guys do not care. Like, he does not care. He does not want people that will defy him in any agency, okay? That's it. They want to pretend him and his followers are not extraordinarily incompetent. Is RFK Jr. a Soviet sleeper agent that just woke up 40 years too late? I wish. Like, there is no secret reasoning behind this. Okay, people are saying like, oh, well, maybe Matt Gaetz is a trial balloon. It's like, no, it's not. He just wants a person that is easily blackmailed and loyal to him in that position. And I'm willing to bet that the more shit comes out about Matt Gaetz, the more they'll push for it. I would be very surprised if like the media pressure and the public pressure on Matt Gaetz actually causes them to stand down. Because for Trump, it's about the backlash is important, okay? It's about overcoming said backlash to show that he can do it. Okay? Do you understand? There is no fucking 5D chess happening here. Oh yeah, I saw this. This was a fantastic tweet. Exactly. Cognitive behavioral therapy and Jory are just cut off in traffic. Think positively. He's probably in a rush for a reason. Maybe he's late for a job interview. Maybe his wife is giving birth. Me, I'm the king of the highway. That's it. So like when Ezra Klein says the Gaetz nomination is so off the wall that I half believe he's sacrificial, so Senate Republicans will give an easier time confirming all the other questionable picks, having shown their independence by icing Gaetz. No. There is no convoluted, complicated reason. What you see is what you get, okay? That's precisely what it is. I don't even think they give a shit. I don't even think they care about, like, like, oh, what will we do? What if people won't allow us to put Matt Gaetz into that position? It's like, no, it's more so about, like, Trump pushing through regardless, okay? This is a man who already was president for 4 years. This is a man who tried to overturn the Democratic elections results in 2020, okay? He knows what not to do. And he's vindictive, he's malicious, he's narcissistic. He knows not to repeat the same mistakes. No more establishment Republicans, no more playing ball. You force them to do your bidding, okay? The cruelty is the purpose. The insanity is the purpose. Ultimately, loyalty above all else. Because if you have people who want to defend institutions or care about the integrity of certain things, and they do not have loyalty above all else, those people, like they did, will become naysayers, okay? And you don't want that. That's the whole point. He doesn't want a leaky faucet like he had last time around, where members of his cabinet and people were constantly fucking chirping to the media and undermining the things that he wanted to do. Okay? That's why the general like appointment board is also significant for him. He wants to eliminate any kind of potential disloyalty And in many instances, if you want to fuck up the country, yeah, you're going to have people who are still invested in protecting some of these institutions. If you care about the military, you're going to be like, oh, fuck that. I'm not doing that. That's crazy. I'm going to actually go to the media and I'm going to talk about how you're fucking crazy. He doesn't want that. So competence in that situation is most likely playing. Competence in that situation is actually going to undermine your chances of becoming appointed. Okay? Because if you're a competent person, if you're a halfway competent person, like even Marco Rubio, as a matter of fact, in my opinion, is on shaky ground, right? On the important stuff, he's still appointing people that are like somewhat seen as like normal figures, like Marco Rubio, right? But even then, he obviously Marco Rubio has demonstrated tremendous loyalty to him. Huh. Why are Republicans so surprised? Now Trump has been saying he's going to do this the whole campaign. What? I don't think Republicans are surprised. They're elated. They're excited. They're talking about how sick this shit is. All right, let's hear what the Democrat leadership says about it.
Above.
President-elect Trump has also nominated one of your former colleagues, I guess, now that he's resigned, former Congressman Matt Gaetz of Florida, to be U.S. Attorney General. I know that there are top Democrats in the Senate, on the Senate Judiciary Committee, calling for the House Ethics Committee to release its findings in its investigation into Matt Gaetz. Take a listen.
And timing of Mr. Gaetz' resignation from the House raises serious questions about the contents of the House Ethics Committee report. We cannot allow this valuable information from a bipartisan investigation to be hidden from the American people.
I am going to demand release of the Ethics Committee report, all of its findings and recommendations.
Do you think the House Ethics Committee should release the report on Gaetz, even though he's no longer a member of Congress, so it's no longer their jurisdiction, I suppose?
Well, the House Ethics Committee has traditionally operated in a bipartisan fashion. You know, I have great amount of trust and respect in the top Democrat on that committee, Representative Susan Wild. Haven't had an opportunity to have a conversation with her.
I don't believe the House Ethics Committee is operating with any sort of integrity. I do, however, think the House Ethics Committee is operating with anger and distrust towards Matt Gaetz. So for that reason, I do think that this report will be released, or at the very least leaked, because they don't like Matt Gaetz. That's the thing. They do not have any sort of like serious integrity. These are politicians. They don't give a fuck about anything, but they do have personal petty vendettas. And a lot of these people hate Matt Gaetz. So I am relying, once again, on the pure resentment, the spite that they feel, and not necessarily their interest in like doing the right thing. Okay.
Director of National Intelligence, Matt Gaetz as Attorney General, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. at HHS, Fox News co-host and decorated veteran Pete Hegseth at the Pentagon. Do you expect that they're all going to be confirmed?
Well, I certainly would be surprised if that in fact was the case, based on some of the reaction from some of the moderate Republican senators to several of these selections. But at the end of the day, what's going to be most important is that both the House and the Senate commit to functioning as a separate and co-equal branch of government, and that we elevate the principle of being a check and balance on a potentially out of control executive branch. That is the vision of James Madison and the framers of the Constitution as to what we should be doing in the House and in the Senate. And House Democrats are committed to just solving the problems that the American people want us to solve, which first and foremost relates to lowering costs and making sure that we can help everyday Americans who are struggling to live paycheck to paycheck get ahead and not simply get by. And all of this that we're seeing over the last few days seems to me to be a distraction from the mission that all of us should be focused on in the context of
What is he? Who's he talking to? How are you so much younger than Nancy Pelosi, but you sound exactly like
hardworking
her?
American taxpayers.
Democrats failed to win back the House majority. Yesterday in a closed-door meeting with the House caucus, you owned the loss. You told members the buck stops with me. Plenty of Democrats are already out there saying that what really...
These guys are they like stuck? Did they all go into a coma in 2016? Like, is that what happened? Did they just go, do they go into a vat and they're just like permanently isolated from everything that happened in the past 8 years? It's crazy. They're speaking to a reality that does not exist.
The House Republicans, we outworked
up.
the House Republicans. We outraised the House Republicans, but we've fallen a few seats short in terms of getting to the 218 that we need to reclaim the majority. And as a leader, it's important to take accountability for that fact and to figure out the path forward in terms of what we need to do better, what we've done right. And
I'm going to tell you this. I talked to senior aides, staffers, okay, in that are working with active politicians in the Democratic Party right now, and the things that I hear from them are alarming. Okay, the things that I hear from them are alarming. They are saying that these guys are completely checked out and don't recognize the issues at hand.
Out of 31 who will return to the United States Congress, who won tough races, notwithstanding an adverse national environment. We're proud of the fact that we held 4 out of the 5 most competitive open seats. No one thought that that was possible, particularly.
Have you seen the purple tie conspiracy? What, that they're all wearing purple ties to be like, we're going to do bipartisanship? Is that why?
Defeated House Democratic incumbents. And so House Democrats are going to be able to evaluate where we are and where we need to go.
Rick Scott?
And I look forward to leading that effort.
Rick Scott backs Lara Trump for Marco Rubio's Senate seat. Okay, at least it's not Laura Loomer. Chat. I can't believe I'm saying this. At least it's not Laura Loomer. Could be worse. You know what I mean?
The gaslighting about President Biden's fitness and acuity, that's, I mean, it's not like climate, like actual climate that you actually have no control over. You and Democrats had control over some of this.
But what we've seen all across the world in every single advanced economy is a post-pandemic level of inflation that hit working class people hard. That's the reality of what the United States of America has confronted, what Western European democracies have confronted, and what advanced economies all across the world have confronted. And that related specifically to the shutdown of the economy as a result of a once-in-a-century pandemic. And when demand came roaring back, when the economy was reopened all across the world, the supply chain was lacking. That triggered levels of inflation that were unacceptable. And we've got to do a better job, of course, of working hard to lower food prices, lower gas prices, lower housing prices. And that's something that we're going to lean into. And the American people correctly have said they want that issue addressed decisively. We're going to have to ask the question, are some of these extreme picks that have been presented into the public domain for the future cabinet of the next administration consistent with what the American people have suggested they want to see tackled in the strongest possible way? We will do that as House Democrats. We're hopeful that as we move forward, we'll have an administration willing to partner with us as well.
House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, Democrat of New York. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Jake.
CNN's Mandaraju is also on Capitol Hill. What he's hearing about the selection of RFK Jr. for the Department of Health and Human Services, plus reaction to other controversial administration picks by President-elect Trump. We're going to squeeze in a quick break. We'll be right back.
Let's get back to this RFK Jr. and the way that Trump's transition co-chair is talking about him.
Most extraordinary thing, because let's face it, we've all heard on the news all sorts of sort of snarky comments about him. And I said, so tell me, how's it going to go? And he said, why don't you just listen to me explain things? And what he explained was when he was born, we had 3 vaccines, and autism was 1 in 10,000. Now a baby's born with 76 vaccines because in 1986, they waived product liability for vaccines. And here's the best one. They started paying the people at the NIH, right? They pay them a piece of the money for the vaccine companies. Wait a minute, let me finish. And so all of these vaccines came out without product liability. So what happened now? Autism is 1 in 34.
Okay,
amazing.
Neither of us are doctors. Vaccines are safe. RFK, I mean,
Why do you think vaccines are safe? There's no product liability anymore. They're not proven.
Kids get them and they're fine.
Why do you think they're fine?
But because they're proven scientifically to be so.
How about this? There was 1 in 10,000 people with autism. We all know so many more people with autism than had it when we were young. Oh, come on.
Okay,
I mean, his point is really interesting.
But
so here's what he
vaccines
said.
don't cause autism,
Okay,
which is what RFK pushes, which is why people are concerned that he could get a job like HHS. And I don't even think he could get...
He's not getting a job for HHS. What he's trying to do, here's what he wants to do. He said, I want data. I just want data because they block the data.
But the data's out there.
Wait, it's not.
They don't block it. You can look at it. It's online.
He wants the data so he can say, these things are unsafe. He says, if you give me the data, all I want is the data, and I'll take on the data and show that it's not safe. And then if you pull the product liability, the companies will yank these vaccines right off of the market. So that's his point. He's not trying to do anything but things that made sense. And look,
this is not where I thought this was going, because
Jared Polis just endorsed RFK. What? There is no fucking way. I'm excited by the news. The president-elect will appoint Robert Kennedy. This is a meme, right? No, it's not. It's not a meme. It's a meme that Jared Polis is the governor of Colorado. Before you mock him or disagree, I want to share with you some quotes that if he follows through, show why I'm excited. Level the playing field for Americans internationally on drug costs. Cap drug prices so companies can't charge Americans substantially more than Europeans pay. Yes. Colorado currently has an application just sitting at the FDA for us to import low-cost prescription drugs from Canada, and we just need their approval. In some categories, there are entire departments. Dude, thinking that these guys are going to actually act out these populist desires that are genuinely helpful and not the bad shit is so delusional. I don't know how to begin to explain this to you. It's like thinking Matt Gaetz is going to be a fucking trust buster, dog. Wake up. Okay? Wake up. That's not the point. That's never the point. What are you guys talking about, man? No, they're not going to do any of the good shit. They're only going to do the bad shit. That's the whole point of the bad shit. We got to get off pesticide intensive agriculture. Yes, we have tried unsuccessfully to better protect people from pollinators from harmful pesticides here in Colorado, and we need all the help we can get, take on big chemical companies and improve human health and the environment. Another instance of perfectly acceptable Islamophobia. Israel supporters tell vulgar anti-Semite Ilhan Omar to go to Gaza, and she responds, "Fuck you." Not sure why she's so offended. It really is where she should be. She would be most useful. Oh God, fucking gross monsters, dude.
Go to Gaza. Go to Gaza, sweetheart. Go to Gaza. Go to Gaza. Go to Gaza, sweetheart. Go to Gaza.
God, these people are fucking such gross pieces of shit, dude. Holy fuck. If we set the bar of expectations super high for this admin and they fail to meet it, do you think that will cause a swing back the other way? Might be what Pose is doing. No, that's not what he's doing. He's a libertarian r/neoliberal moderator, dude. He's just Reddit. He's Mr. Reddit. I'm not going to say what I want to say. Yeah, don't. Oh my God. Nobody is playing fucking 7-dimensional chess. Wake up, chatters. What you see is what you get. Okay? You have to understand. What you see is what you get. Donald Trump is not playing this like long con. Okay? He's very clearly going, I don't give a fuck if these people blow up these regulatory agencies. I actually am putting them there to do that exact same thing. Okay? And we will have a lot of people who are aligned with us that will make a shit ton of money. I don't even want to know who the Department of Education secretary is going to be. Oh my God. I don't even want to know. It's going to be Marjorie Taylor Greene, dude. It's going to be fucking Marjorie Taylor Greene or like, oh my God, it's going to be MTG. Kid Rock. No, it won't be Lobo. I don't think. I don't know. Laura Loomer for press secretary. Oh. The craziest part about this is that the Nelk boys are fucking Canadian. So if shit blows up, they could just like escape to Canada. You know what I mean? They're going to put Christopher Rufo in charge of the Department of Education. I'm going to die. People are saying, oh, he's going to abolish the Department of Education. Yeah, but before he does it, he's going to put someone in the interim period to implode it from within. Dennis Prager, Libs of TikTok, Chaya Rychik for Department of Education. Oh my Lord, it is so bad.
Well, I spent 2.5 hours.
RFK Jr. is a vaccine skeptic. He pushes lies about vaccines, and I don't even think if Republicans.
Why do you think he pushes lies? Why you said
I don't know why
you
he
said I'm not a scientist and you aren't. So
yeah, but
he just wants.
Yeah, but scientists say that. That's the reason. Scientists are the ones who are saying that. What do you mean? Neither of us are scientists. Yeah, exactly. Which is why I listen to the scientists.
Say he pushes lies.
Oh, but scientists were paid to say he pushes lies. I mean, let's give him the data. I think it'd be pretty cool to give him the data. Let's see what he comes up with.
Okay.
I think it's pretty fun.
He pushed conspiracies about COVID. He had to apologize for tying vaccine questions to what happened in Germany during the Holocaust.
I promise you, I have not looked at all the things he said.
So I don't think he's the leading voice that anyone's looking at for on
He
health.
said Roundup. Remember Roundup?
But you're saying he would not be in charge of HHS.
No, of course not.
Okay, so he's not going to be
He's
like
not going to be the secretary. No.
Well, he couldn't get confirmed, but would he be in an acting position
That's
or
not what he
anything like
wants to
that?
do. I just told you what he wants. He wants to help get data.
You're saying he wants
can
access to
prove
data,
things.
but that
he
would
just
be...
wants data, and he wants to prove things are wrong. And he says, if I can't prove they're wrong, that's fine. But if I can save millions of Americans' lives and make their lives better. And I think that's pretty cool.
I'm not sure
so
any
he's
data...
just trying to do it.
I don't...
Jesus Christ. How is he going to prove they are wrong with a super functional brain? Dude, it's over. The brain worm is officially going to control. Dude, that's the craziest part, is that the brain worm won, okay? The long con is that the brain worm won. Now it gets to control the HHS. That's crazy. In Nazi Germany, it was meth. I wonder what these guys' like choice of drugs is that's like fucking up their brain. I guess lead poisoning. Be on the lookout for more of that, by the way. RFK is going to come out and be like, lead actually is very good for the brain. Many people are saying that lead poisoning is not even poisoning. It's more lead welcoming. We must be more welcoming of the lead, like I am welcoming of the worm that has taken over my brain. Yeah. Lead strengthening. Everybody knows that immunocomprophalocytes, a word I did not just make up at this spot, on the spot at this moment, but a real word from my many years of studying this, are really important to maintain high lead levels in your body. Elon is conducting international diplomacy with Iran has never been more Jover. It is so, yeah, it's. Check out France versus Israel soccer videos. It's happening again, I think. Yeah, that's not shocking to me at all. You are so toxic. He just wants what's best for us worms. I mean, humans. Yeah. Excuse me. I am not the brain worm controlling this human flesh machine. I am a human being. I'm sentient and certainly not a worm. And I think it's great. Ay, ay, ay. One thing to always remember is that none of the good things that they say they're going to do, because good things require you to tackle corporate interest, are going to happen. Okay? They're not. Because these guys are never going to tackle corporate interests. So when they talk about I don't know, like blowing up the FDA because there's too many harmful chemicals in our food, what they're actually advocating for is more deregulation, not more regulation. They will point to Europe and many of our OECD counterparts to talk about what must be done, not realizing that those guys actually at least have some semblance of real governance. Okay? They don't want to do the shit that they have in Europe. They don't. They don't want to do that at all. What they'll do instead is probably tackle the harmful chemicals in the water that are turning the children gay, which is, again, lo and behold, more deregulation. Democratic presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has a history of repeatedly sharing unfounded conspiracies that man-made chemicals in the environment could be making children gay or transgender and causing feminization of boys and masculinization of girls. How the fuck does that work? How is it that it's making Is it estrogen or is it testosterone? How is it making the women more manly and the men more feminine? It's magic. All the trans people in the chat are about to be like, damn, I've been missing out. I had DIY HRT in the water supply this whole fucking time. I'm about to go with one of those goddamn straws into a lake and just start sucking. Didn't realize I could get it for fucking free, dude.